All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this. Even though you missed the live party, guys, that is the best part. So make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official Indian Jesus merch. Guys, we do also have a Discord server that is completely free to join. Join up and meet like-minded people. We are in there 24/7, hanging out and having a good time. And if you, again, like I said, it is completely free to join. But if you join this channel as a member, you can scroll right below the video and hit that join button. You not only get members-only streams here on YouTube, but it gives you full access to the Discord server, which includes not only more text channels, but the video chat channel where we have our after party as soon as we are done here. We don't have to worry about the YouTube censors. You are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good old time. Come and join us. Shout out to John coming from Dallas tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So not too much to say. We had the debate last night. I'm not sure how many of you watched it. I should have made that the debate, or I should have made that the poll. We are running with, is Joe Biden going to be the Democrat nominee? For those of you who didn't see it, I'm sure you've seen that it went bad. So we're going to go through it line by line. We're not really going to do a fact check, more of a vibe check, but just to go through it and talk about it. We got Roland K in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm feeling like ish. You know what? I'm not feeling great either. I just woke up from a nap. So, but we are gonna pull it together and we are gonna party. So let's dive right in. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president will debate the former U.S. president as their party's presumptive nominees, a first in American history. We want to welcome our viewers.
Oh, yeah. And guys, if you do want to watch this without my commentary, the link is in the description below. I do like to talk a lot, which is why I started a YouTube channel. Let's do it.
CNN.com, CNN Max, and CNN Espanol. Match for and Cohen.
Candidate Trump will be positioned. Each candidate will be appearing on the right.
Because I didn't actually hear what the rules were. I mean, obviously, it didn't seem like anybody broke any rules, but I didn't really see what they were.
Let's determine their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak, his microphone will be turned on and his opponent's microphone will be turned off.
Hey, we got our boy Dietrich's in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Yeah, we had a little party. We had a bunch of us. We were watching in the video chat channel, as I was just talking about. We had the CNN stream open. We had the Timcast stream open. We were talking. It was a good time. Dietrich said, "Sorry, I didn't watch with you guys. Baby was fussing all the way through, but I definitely yelled, 'Diddy a bunch of times when Biden stumbled through Trump's convictions just for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome to the party. Let's do it.
Should a candidate interrupt when his microphone is muted, he will be difficult to understand for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate.
It probably would have been better if they didn't have that closing, because I'm assuming most of you saw the highlights of this at least, but that closing statement was not good for Biden.
By accepting our invitation to debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Look at the walk already with the walk like an exoskeleton. We got Guantek in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Shout out to Brandon, our boy Brandon, coming to the stage. Look, we beat Medicare.
And please welcome the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump.
That's I've never seen a candidate self-immolate like that. He literally walked onto the stage already doused in gas and lit the match itself. Indeed.
Gentlemen, thanks.
And we got Amp in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, miss. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. We got Zippy DSM Lee over on Rumble. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said Biden is an old dog that needs to retire. He sniffed all the booger sugar that he can manage. Indeed, indeed. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party.
So much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120.
And even more than that. If you were watching the Timcast stream, there was actually, I think I might have it here. Do I have it here? The video. There was a video of a dude who had the Walmart app. I don't have the video here. Oh, there it is. Bam. Bam! Look at this. They were talking. They had pulled up this video right now.
Will be sick. I just looked through my Walmart history, and I found this Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items cost $126.
$126.
A whole month of groceries just for me, basically.
$126 a month to feed yourself. Not bad.
But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now, this order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414.
From $126 to $414. So, I mean,
that's the 4 times more.
Not quite, but 4 times as much. So not quite what they're saying here. Already a little bit of a fact check. DJ saying the AI robot that talked about raining rockets full of flowers onto the earth has more emotions and less rigidity than the female moderator. What's her name? Dana something? I forget her name. But I mean, I don't think the moderators were even really that much of a factor. And I think that the fact that they didn't have an audience is why that was, because when you're playing to the audience, especially if you're Trump, that's when you're going to need the moderators to step in. And it actually seemed like it worked out better for Trump that there was no audience, because he didn't have to play to the audience. And so he was a lot more relaxed. He was a lot more chill, that presidential thing that was his very first, the insult that was thrown around. It was like, oh, he's not very presidential. He was able to be very chill because he didn't have anybody to play to. And the moderators didn't have much to do but ask the questions. So I ain't mad at it. Roland said, do you guys think it's a possibility Biden will win this election? I thought he was going to lose last time, and I ain't doing 4 more years of this ish. I mean, like we always say, anything is possible. Believe nothing except that anything is possible. But according to our poll, 60% of you do still think he's going to be the nominee. So I really don't know. I think the entire reason that they moved the debate up this early, because this is the earliest debate. And I think there was one earlier, if I'm not mistaken. But in recent history, this is the earliest debate ever. And I think in my conspiracy, this is just speculation, but I think in my conspiracy mind that they purposely did that to be like, they knew that they were going to get rid of Biden. Like, all right, let's just push him literally on TV under the bus. And this was what we saw. So I don't think so, but you're right. I mean, you never know. Shout out to Baby Mahara in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Biden got cooked. His brain is mush. Democrats need to think of a new plan and fast. So I think that's what I'm saying. I think they've already been thinking. And whether it's Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or Big Mike or anybody else, I think there are plans in motion. And I mean, honestly, I think if they were to wait until the last minute, because one of their big obstacles is Kamala Harris. And so if they were to wait till the very, very, very last minute and then put Kamala in, I do think she would still get most of the Biden vote. Given where we're at, after this debate, I don't know how much worse you could do. So it does. He went he did so bad that it might just be that they're like, okay, well, I mean, they will vote for anybody over him, so let's just keep him in, keep everything as steady as possible, and then we'll slide Kamala in at the last minute. But I don't know. Teacher said 9% inflation equals $120, $400 plus over 2 years. Yeah. The Dems will fortify this election for sure. Shout out to Stephen Colbert Cheese. Said Biden's the only one that can make Biden drop out. Check your conspiracy brain. Yeah, you never know. You never know. But I think the machine is pretty powerful, and they've been propping him up for a long time. And I don't think he's been fighting the machine the way that Trump was in his presidency. But we will see. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. We also got King Nirvana with the prenup inside joke. Welcome. And so I think there's a high chance he will win because laws that have been altered since 2020, agencies are campaigning and they're power hungry. The only difference is that more people are paying attention. Indeed. We also got Arjun in the building. Welcome. And hello to Harley Rose. Welcome, guys. All right, let's do this.
Typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president.
Oof, right out the gate.
Your presidency than they were under President Trump.
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right.
Already lied. That is not what he said.
Right. The economy collapsed.
We pulled this clip up before. He said, the same way disinfectant works, is there something like that would work for the inside of the body? And yeah, right out the gate. First a raspy voice and then a lie. Oof. And welcome to the Funk Master General. Right out that gate. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. And of course, guys, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host, Morty. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you, sir. And welcome to the party.
It's not that serious.
Obviously, I did speed this up a little bit, but I don't think we're going to have any problems keeping up with what they're saying.
Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do was try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out...
Yeah, 15,000 new jobs when you lost how many over COVID? That sounds like losing jobs. Shout out to Indie Bill. Welcome to the party. Put a 1 in the chat if you already watched the debate. Because I should have made that the poll, but I wasn't thinking. I'm just curious. Who's seen this before and who hasn't? Welcome to the party, Indie Film.
And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble.
Yeah, it's almost like, this is almost a strong president here when we see it at this speed. Shout out to 6 Drops. Welcome to the party. Just wanted to see okay. We got Steven that's seen the debate already. All right. Word up.
100,000
Welcome to the party, guys.
But there's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come from a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, was a problem.
Yeah, just like they are right now.
The price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. I do want I sped it out because I want to get through a lot of it, and we're not going to be able to. We'll try 1.15. Shout out to TV Viewerski, watching just the clips. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, but again, that's why I think that's why I want to see how many of you seen it. I think a lot of people, even if you've just seen clips, like the important parts, you've already seen it. Again, this is not a news channel, so if this is where you're coming for news, then you messed up. Drink. He said Scranton. All right. What are the drinking game rules? So so for Biden, anytime he says when he starts baloney or malarkey, or he says that's baloney or malarkey, we'll go with that. Anytime he stumbles over his words, anytime we can't understand what he's saying. Trump, anytime he punctuates everything, his entire sentence with one word: disgusting, amazing, anything like that. What else? Give me some more rules. Shout out to Balance Shiz. Welcome to the party. So I think this might have been the but definitely it's exactly what I was saying. This was the plan from the beginning. Show how bad he is so they can replace him. So Roland hasn't seen anything. Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're gonna get plenty of it out of this. Even if you've only seen the clips, like there was not really like a huge back and forth. Like you get it. You know what's gonna happen, right? You know what's gonna happen. As I said, I came from Scranton, so I know how to screw you moves. I guess that's what they teach there. Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, we'll try. We'll try to point it out, and we'll give him credit where he's got credit. You know, he wasn't the worst thing ever. It was just the worst presidential performance in a debate ever. He's done so. I mean, one lie and one gaffe so far in the first 2 minutes. That's pretty good for Biden.
Corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos.
Shit his pants on national TV? I think that's it.
Literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400.
And why was it $400? Isn't it? Didn't Trump bring the price down by a lot, and then you got rid of that, and then it shot up to $400, and so then you're gonna try and take credit for that? Okay, fair enough. I see what we're doing. Shout out to Guantag. Welcome to the party. Said even Kyle Kulinski and David Pakman couldn't spin this insanity. You know, Brandon is cooked egregious to the two biggest lefty YouTubers couldn't pull it together for their chosen one. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's more telling that CNN themselves, right after this, when they had the analyst test, they were like, there's a panic in the Democratic Party, and it's not, you know, like even CNN. So I think as bad as it is that Kyle Kulinski and David Pakman and you know, the Young Turks, all of them, the fact that they are not on it is big. It definitely is big. But I think the fact that CNN themselves, the one who hosted this debate, said that Biden failed and that there's a panic and that you know, turning the talk to who else do they have? I think that's all that we need to see. There was not a moment from the time that the debate started after that there was a consideration for Biden to still be the president. Not one. As soon as they went to the desk, I saw a couple of people tweeting, "Hey, if you turned off the CNN thing, turn it right back on because it's entertaining." And yeah, I definitely think that, you know, there's no option. So he said it's not corporate greed as much as everything is up from a wrecked economy. Yeah, and why is it wrecked? Roland said, I'm more focused on other personal issues lately, but at least we're doing Vegas soon. See you there. Word up. Anybody else going to Freedom Fest? I will see you there. We also got Nick in the building. Welcome to the party. So am I the only one dumber today because I watched our so-called president forget everything in his presidency? Well, hey, you know what? I'm of the opinion that no matter what, like we can, I mean, that's our president. That's our president. We may hate it, but that's our president. I feel very strongly about that. From day one, I think that once we decide, all right, this guy's it, then we got to get behind him. He's our president. He did make us all dumber and forget everything about his presidency, but that is my president, unfortunately. All right, let's dive back in here.
To $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for.
That's a really interesting way to spin that because usually, obviously, if the economy was good before COVID, and then COVID happens, and then we change to Biden. So when things are on the upswing, then naturally people would give Biden the credit. But interesting how he took credit for that. And it just worked. He slid right into it. And so many times Biden just set him right up to just dunk on him. Shout out to Roland K. We got a drink for that one. If you don't know what you're doing, neither does your enemy. Jozu. Brilliant. And Roland, I think a lot of people said this today. I've never been a Trump supporter, but at this point, I may as well be. And this is how it happened for so many of us. I was a never Trumper. And here we are. This exact thing happened to so many of us. And hey, now he's going to win. So welcome to the winning team.
Than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you, President Biden.
And again, just the difference in being able to understand what it is that the man is saying. I don't know how to put into words how important that actually is. Like it is everything. And it's so much so that it doesn't even really matter that what they said. It's just Biden couldn't speak. Shout out to XNV over on Kick. Welcome. So do you condemn Biden for beating Medicare? Yes. How dare you, Biden? You never should have beat Medicare. Welcome to the party.
And inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks.
I do. Put a one in the chat if you think Trump's economy was the best economy.
Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began. So,
why is that? Oh, COVID, like a worldwide pandemic that, we had no idea what to do. But under your presidency, you did know what we should do, and you just didn't. Okay, fair enough. Shout out to Giggling Spy. Welcome to the party. Said Trump looks stoic standing there. Yeah, I mean, it's just projecting strength in comparison. Just by standing there and not having trouble with standing up is projecting strength at this point by comparison. That's how sad it is. Welcome to the party. So we say, wait, this guy's not the Dick Tracy villain? Oh, wrong one. Good one. Six Jobs said, for the rest of us dummies, what happened was two corrupt codgers tried to tell us how much worse the other one was. That's pretty much what you missed. Longmaster said, I read all 13 chapters of Joe Zoo's teaching, and now hey, have you guys ever seen a wombat? They're adorable.
come on, man.
Dilly. Oh, we gonna get drunk tonight. Roland K's, and I don't think I was ever a never Trumper. I just thought he was a pretentious douche and a racist as a teen. But I do remember saying I was looking forward to seeing how his run would go. And shout out to that. So you were more balanced than I was, and it just the truth shall set you free. Eventually, you see too much. You see too much. Harley said, I've only experienced Trump's and Biden's economy, and Trump's was better despite the chaos happening. Although the shortages were rough, definitely. Nothing compared to the last few years. Indeed. Shout out to Carl Johansson. Welcome to the party. So I'll eat some crow here. I did not think CNN could conduct an honest debate, and I was wrong. I am shocked. I agree. Like I was saying before, I think the fact that there was no audience there is really what the moderators are for, is because the candidates are playing to the audience. When they cut off the mics and there's nothing you could say, like, what does the moderator need to do other than ask the questions? But as long as they weren't, tanking the whole thing, it works for me. It works for me, indeed. King Spy said, yeah, CNN did better than expected. Wow, look at that. Even Trump is making CNN look good. What can he nothing he can't do. I said, which do you think Trump was thinking more? Oh man, I'm genuinely concerned for this guy. Or holy shit, he's completely flubbing it. I'm gonna go with the second one. I mean, of everybody who was like, oh, Biden, oh no, I don't think he had that at all. Trump was like, let's go.
He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover.
Yeah, getting the spot. The bar was low, but hey, they hopped right over it.
The idea that he did something that was significant in the military. When he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that.
Why would you bring up Afghanistan? Don't bring up Afghanistan. You know what that reminds me of? You messing up us leaving Afghanistan.
When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any, this decade, that doesn't have any troops.
This century or this decade?
This century that doesn't have any, this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world.
It's TikTok, so whatever. But I saw this clip, and then somebody posted a bunch of pictures of soldiers who have died since he's been in office. And I don't know if it's true. There was no sourcing or anything. But the fact that we've been involved in stuff all over the world, the fact that we've had a literal war going on at the border, nobody died in the last decade where you weren't in whatever. Nobody died under your watch. Come on, man. Stephen Colbert Cheese said, if Joe did have the gumption to drop out, is there a Democrat ticket you would vote for over Trump? Nope. The whole reason that I've decided to say that I do think Trump has earned my vote is because the landscape is, again, either the Democratic Uniparty establishment, which is a car careening off a cliff, or Trump, which is doing right what he's doing, just standing in one spot. So at worst, he's standing in one spot. At best, he's at least bringing us back from the edge. But at worst, he's doing nothing, and I am perfectly fine with that. I don't need him to be a savior. I just need, the entire, the leader of the establishment not to be weighing down everything so that we, the people, can create the society that we want. So no Democrats, not this time around. I mean, I'm not saying I would never vote Democrat. Obviously, you guys know that I did before for Hillary, and I very, very much regret that. But I'm not saying that I would never vote a Democrat in the future. But it's not very likely, and it would really depend on the candidates. But here, Trump is again. When I did vote for Hillary and I regretted it, I learned never again to vote against somebody. So if I'm casting a vote, it's because I am for that person, and there would have to be somebody that I'm just for even more than that. And the reason I'm for Trump is because he's stopping all the Democratic establishment stuff. So if you're part of the Democratic establishment, ain't gonna work. So I think when it comes to the best economy in the world, it depends on the parameters you're using. Yep, indeed.
Have any this decade that don't have any troops dying anywhere in the world, like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Wait, Bellin said he was never a racist in the 70s, and on Trump was always supporting and hanging black people, calling Trump racist. Oh, okay. I was very confused. Yeah, calling Trump racist is just because of propaganda. Yep. Funkmaster said, I'm pretty sure a few 100,000 have died in the past few years. And again, even if we're not even talking the military, what about people who died from COVID who wouldn't have otherwise died had it not been for Democratic policies? Yeah, now?
Anywhere in the world, like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cause countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back. And he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. And they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting because we saw the dark Brandon. We saw State of the Union Brandon. And I mean, is it the fact that the decline is so much that he can't get there, or that, you know, they just didn't have the right mix, or, you know, Carl was talking about, you know, the cold. I think if he really had a cold, we would have heard about it long before the debate. Actually, I don't know. Because I think if they put that out beforehand, then that would have sounded like you know, preempting, excusing it preemptively. But I don't know. Holly said, according to the source, majority of deaths among military personnel is self-deletion, and that definitely counts.
$0.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country.
That's a good point, too. The fact that we, you know, that COVID was going to bring us down, depending on where we started, that could have been really, 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 really bad. Look, what if the economy was where it is and then COVID hit? Yikes.
But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate.
Not just that it had bad effects, but it was a bad policy. And yes, it was the governors that were ultimately in control of that. But it was Dr. Fauci Anthony Fauci. I will refuse to refer to that man by his proper title. Anthony Fauci and the Biden administration that caused that. So it's not just that bad things happen. It was bad things happen because of bad policy that he that he enacted, or he wanted people to enact.
He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country. And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden.
So I'm wondering how, like, if as you see there, even though we're sped up a little bit, it was very clear that Jake Tapper knew to talk at the end of that sentence. So, I mean, just to, who was it that was saying that it's going to be pre-recorded? Was that Richard? I mean, maybe there's something to that. Look how smooth this was.
Destroy our country.
So maybe it was just the end of his time, but by the time he was done talking, what's his name? Jay Tapper was already talking. So he said, Dr. Death Fettuccine. Fair enough. Fair enough. Where are we? And of course they are. Valenche said Trump is the only president to stand up at Davos and tell the superpowers to back off and no to the Great Reset. That's all anyone should be caring about. It's taking over the world, and America will be last. I agree. So many of the globalist things. That's another reason why, I just would not go with the Democratic Party this time around. They're feeding us into that pipeline, and just Trump is not. And even if the system still is, he is a hedge against that. And so there's nothing that could that could convince me to go further in that direction, which I think any Democratic politician would be. I mean, like, what unless Trump Jr. Like, let's say they took Trump off the ballot, and Trump Jr. was like, all right, I'll take up arms and run as Democrat, something like that. But no, not happening.
Jails and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one.
I did see that he put something out. I haven't watched it yet, but I am excited. Shout out to Dave Smith.
Question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, he got $2 trillion tax cut, benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
Oof.
And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million.
24 or 25?
Billion dollars, I should say, in the 10.
Oh my God! Again? So there's million, and then there's billion, and then there's trillion. Okay, Joe, that's how it works.
In fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%. 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with look, if we finally beat Medicare.
We finally beat Medicare. That's not even the worst moment of this whole thing. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Yeah, the captures are working overtime for Biden right now. The YouTube servers are smoking. Well, that's why I actually picked the Wall Street Journal, because the CNN debate, they didn't have the auto captions, and I don't even know why the news channels try to put the captions that they use for cable TV, because it's like 10 seconds behind and it's always wrong. But give it like 6 hours and YouTube on it. Cap cut for the win.
Look, if
Oh my God, listen to the sound. I can't even do it. Speaking about death rattle.
everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat
Ugh.
Medicare,
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people.
Well, I mean, with Biden, they ain't wrong. And yeah, Carl, this is why I don't like the question. I mean, maybe before 2020, fine. Will you accept the results of the election no matter what? Before 2020, that was a reasonable question, because everything, for it being the political establishment, everything, at least the theater of it, at least was on the up and up. They at least held together the theater of it. Now it's like, we know that you're doctoring this stuff, so no matter what. Like, if everything's legit, then yeah, of course. Because even if Trump wins, you could arrest these people for election interference, but especially if we lose. Yeah, that's a big thing that I hope to see. Some heavy prosecution.
We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe.
So do you think, so actually, let's, okay, I do want to do a poll just to see how many of you, did you already watch the debate? So I want to do that one. Hit that one quick so we could just get that. So where I'm at. But it's interesting there because, is Biden sharp enough? He said criminal. Trump said criminal. Would Biden, if the mics were on, would he have been smart enough to be like, you're the only criminal here? Because even though, that's a cheap shot and like, yeah, whatever, that would have been a good moment for him. Like,
Dana?
This man has done is absolutely criminal.
You're the criminal.
Thank you, President Trump.
You know what I mean? If he could have done that, it didn't even seem like he was, it didn't even occur to him. And he's not even listening to Trump. He's just, trying so hard to stay focused on his no cards. But interesting.
What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing
Actually, I don't know why I did that. I don't. Never mind.
emergency abortions to continue in Idaho.
I was gonna go on tangent.
Despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now,
I didn't. I didn't, although it is the correct position. This is what I was going to say before. It's a little bit more relevant now, but I put the cheer on, but I don't think it's a good thing that it got sent back to the states, even though that's the right thing, because I think more babies are going to die now that there are so many states that allow all the way through 9 months. So again, another quick one that I am curious about, where the thing I was just talking about with Trump ending his thing on the word criminal. Do you think Biden, if the mics were on, especially if there was an audience there, do you think he would have been quick enough to be like, "You're the criminal"?
V. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that.
And I think that's fair too. I don't, as much as I am pro life in theory. I still don't want the government, getting so deep into between you and your doctor. And Funkmaster, I don't know if I agree. I think again, the best we were going to get is the first trimester. I think that was the best we were going to get. That was the compromise. Now both sides are getting everything that they want in their own states, but it's now we have different states with different laws, and then we have, of course, the issue of if you're in Texas and your wife, your pregnant wife, is driving over the border to whatever state that is legal, and you call the cops and say she's going to murder my child in this state. She is still in this state. That is murder. She's about to commit murder. She's on her way to commit murder. What do we do? That's not good. I don't think that is a good situation. And so what I think the Democrats should have done was had something, a better compromise or some compromise in the face that was not as restrictive as Roe v. Wade. At least they could have put that out there. And then, the discussion could be had, and we can come to something we agree on, and maybe not quickly, but it's just leave well enough alone. We leave well enough alone. More dead babies now that Roe v. Wade has gone to the states. Quamzek said, what a crap question. It should have been, will you allow any woman, even without a prescription, to buy abortion pills online without question? Yeah, that would have been a better one. Hey, shout out to Mike W. Welcome to the party. Biden does nothing quick, and it seems like the rest of you agree. One person was like, yeah, I think so. Everybody, hell no. What are we talking about here? Yugoslavia is pretty small in comparison to the U.S. I'm not trying to imply that to the U.S. go through a 50-plus way divorce itself. The U.S. can remain united, like in the name. Hopefully. I mean, in terms of like national divorce and stuff, it's that's a can of worms. Shout out to our boy Zippy DSM Lee with the Rumble rant. Let's get rid of this. We just re-upped on treats here for Morty. Thank you, sir. Said feed the dog. Thank you very, very much, sir.
I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia.
We'll have a conversation.
He was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe.
If anybody can get, I don't remember even where that clip is from, but the phrasing of we'll have a conversation. If anybody can find that and we can pull that up, that would be ideal. Because I don't think a lot of, I mean, again, I don't know where it's from, so I'm sure a lot of people just don't know about it. The idea that, you know, the baby will take out the baby, and then the doctor and mother will have a conversation. A conversation about what? As Trump said, whether or not to kill the baby that is alive. Balance said you can't change the abortion laws until people change. True. I'm pro-life, but people are so brainwashed they need to realize it's for sacrificing babies. All made legal by Margaret Sanger. Pure evil. I agree. Shout out to Justin Crumley. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. So I think leaving it to the states is the best long-term solution. When it's more centralized, it won't be subject to more market competition. What are we defining? Like, what would be market competition in this context? Are we talking about like ways to do it more safely, or what exactly do you mean by that? But welcome to the party. I said, see how honest Trump is? He just said, this is bad, but you got to get elected. When was the last time a politician was that honest? I don't know. That's a great point. The honesty is what threw, I'll just speak for myself. The honesty is what threw me off in the beginning, because yes, we knew that politicians lied, but the degree to which politicians and the media lied was unknown, because we didn't know the truth. We just knew that they were lying about this, and that. And so when you see that Trump is being, you know, like this honest about things, and that the average politician's being this honest about things, and you expect that they're being this honest, then you see when Trump's all the way out here, it's like, whoa, if Biden was being honest, even though we know he's lying, he would only be this bad, and you're all the way up here. But in reality, Biden, if he was being honest, would be maximally bad, just like so many others. And that's what the anti-Trumpers or the TDS people don't understand, is that yes, Trump has a lot of flaws, but at least he's honest, or a lot more honest. I said, I think the big issue is that it's not really about the life and well-being of the child. Since bans and restrictions started happening, there's an increase in infant deaths, illnesses, and defects. Well, I mean, I definitely hear you that it is not about the well-being of the child. That's a different issue than whether or not the child should be alive at all. But I feel like that's a liberal talking point that they smuggle in. Well, how come you're not paying for this, that if you care so much? Because that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about, am I paying for the well-being of the child? I'm just saying that it's your responsibility to take care of your own offspring. Why? So I think that's two separate issues. Hey, shout out to the Funk Master General. Look at his head pop up like that. He knows it. With five gifted memberships. Oh, let's get you on camera right there. Yummy. Shout out to Harley Amber. You're already in there. Brad, Marjorie, and Stephen Colbert Cheese. If you are not already in the Discord, guys, come and join the Discord. Now that you have that's the wrong link. Now that you have the membership, just join and send me a DM and join us in the after party. Even if you don't want to hang out in the after party, there are other channels as well for members. So join and let me know. Thank you so very much to the Funk Master General. Out sponsoring
The fact is
yourself.
that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in
Well, you forgot to finish that sentence.
it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a
Have it what?
idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in
Just glitch out.
6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, have him decide on what your circumstances are.
I don't accept that thing either. That sometimes people don't even know that they're pregnant at 6 months. Then find out if you had sex. If you're having sex then semi-regular. If you're having sex without protection, then you definitely need to be checking up on whether you're getting pregnant. Sure, the methods can fail, but if you understand that there is a 6-week ban, then maybe every 6 weeks it's just a good idea to be like, let me just check. Otherwise, just be more be more on top of it. Shout out again to the Funk Master General. Harley asks, should all babies live? Well, that is a very broad question. I don't know if I can. I would definitely have to sit and think about, should all babies live? But the question I think is at hand with abortion is, should all babies have the opportunity to live? And so the slightly different, but I think I think that matters. And so there might, because you could bring up the baby Hitler. Like, we know that Hitler's going to grow up and do this, so maybe that baby doesn't deserve to live. You can make the argument for that, but that doesn't mean that the mother had the right to stop that from happening. Shout out to Garrett Grant. Welcome to the party. Adding another gifted membership. Shout out to Brian Turner. Also, all of that stuff I just said applies to you as well. Make sure you join the server. Oh, we got somebody. Who we got? 6 Drops. Shout out to 6 Drops. Welcome to the server. If you did get one of the memberships, or if you do sign up, just send me a DM and I will make sure that you get the permissions for the all the channels, as well as the after party. Thank you so much, sir. Justin says, if you're having sex at all, you should consider the possibility of the outcome. Crazy, right? Crazy. You're come on, man.
You cannot see a doctor, have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in.
Yeah, whose fault is that, Joe? Again, Biden or Trump just being like, let's go, bringing up all this stuff so I don't have to. Well, since you brought up immigrants, killing somebody, let's talk about it. Talk about that. But here's the deal. There's a lot of young women being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. But wait, I missed this part when I remember it was weird, but I had missed this part. So let's go. Harley said better sex education would help. Yep. There are people out here who think birth control prevents pregnancy and therefore they don't need any other form of protection. And yeah, I agree. I think this is the problem with the semantic obfuscation of smuggling the kink education type of stuff into sex education, because then it creates a dichotomy of we don't want to be, we don't even want to deal with this. No, you want to change sex ed? No, just leave it the way it was, as opposed to, okay, let's change sex ed to help there be less pregnancies. It's all about the framing of the issue. Completely agree. All right, let's back this up a little bit.
The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that. But here's the deal. There's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous. And
it is ridiculous. What in the are you talking about? So I think, if I'm being generous, what I think what he's trying to say is that, nope. I mean, okay, this part where spouses and brothers and sisters and whatever that people need the incest thing, but where did the immigrant thing come from? What even are you saying? Don't think I'll destroy your abortion argument with my dangerous illegals argument, which I support. That's what's happening.
Spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting.
Did you guys hear that? Like, it started feeling like it was in one ear, and then it kind of bounced, and then there was just a glitch. Is that just on my end? Is that the video?
He opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states.
Just a reminder, Biden, we are still talking about abortion, not immigration.
Wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states. I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain.
Look at his face, bro. What are you doing? You're just listening. You're just listening. I mean, unless you're pooping. Unless you're pooping.
Have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First,
that was a good dodge, because the question was, the question was, do you support the whole 9 months? And to pivot back to Roe v. Wade, good job there. Good job there. 6 Jobs said, my mom is 83 years old and speaks Codger. I don't know what that is, fluently, and still couldn't understand Joe Biden much, which I was lying. It's its own thing. He made it up, and on the spot. Google, I got R paid by my sister. Now I'm pregnant. What do I do? Why don't you do it and report back? I'll leave that one to you, homie.
To terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor.
Roe v. Wade has three trimesters, or any pregnancy has 3 trimesters, and under Roe v. Wade, we talked about abortion by the trimesters.
V. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that
that's not what a trimester is.
The politicians, the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision.
I agree that the founding fathers would not have said that women's health should be in the eyes of the state. However, I think life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, keyword there being life, was absolutely something that was considered by the founding fathers. Sorry, I'm a little foggy. Like I said, I just woke up from a nap, not feeling great. I'm doing my best. Kingless Spy said also the 3 is in the try. Yeah, well, if you list 3 things, then that's automatically a trimester, right? I'm just like, what happened? What happened? Okay, octogenarian. There you go. Learn something new. Thank you. Codger in Australia means friend, so at least we're all learning. Abort Roe v. Wade now.
Making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's
a doctor should be making those decisions, or a doctor and the woman should be making those decisions. Nitpick, but weird way of saying that.
No politician should be making it.
It's like that would mean that you might go into the doctor and be like, I want to keep this child, and then the doctor decides, nope, we're killing it.
Decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth.
Again, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? The fact that you know that you're on TV, the fact that, and it's not like a new thing. Like, bro, you've been the president for the last 4 years. You've been the vice president for 8 years. You understand the dynamics of media optics and all that. And we got this. What is happening? How is this already the president of our country? Insane. Context said the amount of baby deleting from are paid by your sister is staggering. Oof. Yeah. Well, and I mean, this brings up the question. I don't. So we're at 50-50. Oh no, it's not. I have 3 options. So should there be those 3 exceptions? They usually say life of the mother. They've said enough. So life of the mother, rape, or incest. And so 30% of you are saying not all 3. And I agree, because I don't know that incest is necessarily the something that I would consider as a good enough reason to kill a child. Like, I definitely think that, incest should not be acceptable, but if it's already happened, then why do we necessarily need to kill the baby? I don't know. Probably said, that is BS. You care about women enough to restrict women's health care to protect a baby, but not enough to protect women's spaces. There you go. Getting the Spy said Trump low-key rolled his eyes at the doctors should decide statement. Well, as he should. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
The 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
Your mic's not on, bro. Justin said if doctors take the Hippocratic Oath, they would only perform abortions in the case that that the mother's life is in danger. Otherwise, their oath is meaningless, to do no harm. Yeah, I agree. So let's go. We'll go point by point with the 3 exceptions. So we'll do life of the mother, which I assume it's going to go one way. We'll do life of the mother, then we'll do rape, and then we'll do incest. So I'm just going to put the word, should this be an exception? Shout out to Harley Spitting Fire.
Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But
so what was the lie?
We are not for late-term abortion, period.
You sure you're sure? Because I've seen a lot of people cheering for Joe Biden saying, yes, I can't wait to get my next abortion.
Period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not.
Okay, but again, that's still the case. In some states, you can do whatever you want, and you can do a lot more than before Roe v. Wade. Again, I think it's the correct decision that it should be up to the states. I'm just pointing out that let's not forget that sometimes we don't want to rock the boat. Sometimes, leave well enough alone. Arjun said Dana started with 7 states have 0 legal restrictions on abortion, and Biden says there's no late-term abortion. Whoopsies. Justin said incest should not be an exception in my opinion, just like we shouldn't abort because of Down syndrome or something. We're not into eugenics around here, right? That's kind of where I'm at. Why is that always included? Rape is one that we can definitely talk about. Clearly here. So, what did I just do? Right now we're 57-43. Dan hit that poll. That one is up in the air. I think incest is even more clear. I think the rape exception is probably the most difficult one. So we will see. Balance said we will be if Democrats keep power. Indeed. That's why we can't let it happen.
We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years.
How long was slavery? Oh, forever? So that's a bad argument. Got it.
Was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected?
Oh, bringing up us. Now it's the MAGA Republicans. That's definitely worth a drink. And another great point from Six Drop says, just because we can doesn't mean we should. Should we do it? That is always a prevalent question.
Going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
That's what a lot of people are voting for him for. Justin said, even in the case of rape, it may be more difficult, a more difficult decision emotionally, but morally, there is no excuse to kill an innocent third party just because harm was done. We're only going to get 7 votes. Come on, guys. We got 15 people here. This could go completely other way. Should rape be an exception for abortion? Yes or no? Hit that poll. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments below.
Something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns.
What do you think Trump was going to say there? Because he did wait a minute. And he was definitely going to say something there. And I would have expected, shout out to CNN. I would have expected them to keep the camera on him, trying to talk while the mic wasn't on, just for a few seconds of making him look bad. That is the way they do things, but they didn't do it. So shout out to them.
Migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should
in
voters
some cases
trust you to solve this crisis?
They shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's not even about solving it. It's about the fact that he caused it. Like, yes, we had issues at the border. Donald Trump wanted to build a wall. The only reason that wall does not exist is because of people like Biden and the Democratic establishment. Then, when there was no wall and it still was only yay bad, then all the rhetoric allowed this crisis to occur. So it's not even about solving it. It's about taking accountability for the fact that you started it in the first place. Let's start there.
Real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement.
Well, either you're not working hard enough or you just suck, because if you're working hard and this is where we're at, then no bueno. No bueno.
Not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. And
let's go to actually I think it's on my own thing here. This is on you guys, right? Yeah. Where are we? There was a tweet. Shout out to Lauren Boebert. Border Patrol Union. To be clear, we have never and never will endorse Joe Biden. So if we go back just a few seconds.
Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me. Endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border legally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do.
A total ban? All right. Hey, I'm voting for Biden. Just kidding. Six Drop said, you might be tossing me out, but I taught my dog a trick. I say Kamala and it hides under the pillow. as a dog trainer, I don't know if you guys don't know that, but I am a dog trainer as my my full-time job. I very much appreciate that. Dilly. So the problem is there's no justice for you in the case of rape, and I agree with Justin, sure, but performing more injustice doesn't solve anything either. And so the again, we have the issue of the person somebody got raped, and then we have the issue of there is a baby that is going to be born, and those should be completely different issues. But 60% of you said that rape should be an exception. So I am on the other side of you guys there, although we did have 40% of you saying no. So then now we're going to do should incest be an exception? Oh, that's not how you spell that. Exception. Let's see what you guys think. Funkmaster General said, so if that happened to her, you think you would love and raise that child like your own? I honestly don't know what that situation would be like. All I do know is that there's a lot of people who are victims of children of rape who themselves are very happy that they are alive, as well as the fact that their parents love them very much. I mean, that's what they say. So I don't know. I do see the side of it that if you do have a rape baby, then you're not necessarily going to be very open about the fact that you don't want that rape baby. But that's what people say. And certainly the people, the children themselves, there's a lot of them who are like, I'm very glad that I was not aborted. Justin said, absolutely I would. All life is precious and should be valued. There are also lots of options like adoption if someone doesn't want to keep it themselves. Yeah, very good point. Dietrich said, listen, it sounds brutal, but I don't accept the idea of abortion for rape unless a report is filed and a DNA test is ran. It's an awful experience, but it protects potential victims to jail the rapist. I mean, I agree that, you know, there needs to be some hard, some difficult things there, because I understand wanting to be comforting to the victim, but at the end of the day, if you are trying to kill a human being and you want the government to sign off on it, then we got to have at least a few hoops for you to jump through first. So I mean, I think at least a report and you know, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what a DNA test is going to do, because it doesn't like, even, you know, I mean, marital rape is still a thing. Like, I don't think that if we're going to say that a rape is a valid exception, then I don't think we would say marital rape doesn't count. So I don't necessarily know how the DNA test works or fits into that, but the report for sure. Carl said, Biden being president reminds me of those deals people make with a genie when they grant your wish, but with a horrible twist that completely ruins it, like dementia. That would be a good movie. That would be a good movie. That's going to be the biopic. That's how they're going to spin it. Actually, Biden, you know, he was amazing, but, you know, he wanted to help the American people so bad that he gave up his brain for America, for you. Context and I stand on it. Allow abortions, but also allow social shaming again. Yeah, I'm with you. Because again, I don't like the government being the determinant of who lives and dies. I think it's, you know, they have the position in saying that, you know, a person should not die, but I don't. It gets swirly, and if we can have society prevent, you know, again, it should be unthinkable, then that's going to save more lives for you know, over time. So I value life so much, but I'm not comfortable telling a woman in that position that she has to have the same values as me. However, I will make sure she knows I am not okay with it. Fair enough. Harley said, do you have any idea how many children are waiting for adoption in the U.S.? Over 100,000. How many of you or people do you know that have adopted children? Another good point, but is that an excuse? This is absolutely true. 600,000 kids in the foster system each year. So we should kill them? Like, I'm not trying to downplay this, but if you're presenting that as a reason to kill the children, I don't think that's strong enough. That's how strong of a position abortion is. That yes, despite all of this, all of these children in the foster care system and being put up for adoption, I think that is that just speaks to, okay, we need to reform that system so that more people are willing to able and willing to adopt children. Then we were talking before about better sex education, and you said something about not necessarily less pregnancies, but clearly with numbers like this, there's a lot of pregnancies that are not wanted. And so if these kids are never conceived in the first place, then that's the ideal situation, because they are not wanted. But once they're conceived, they're there. They're there. Balance said, I'm thinking about taking a child right now. From where? Like, this is an odd statement. What can you explain a little bit more? It's like, it sounds like you're about to steal it from the hospital or something. Harley said, I'm saying using the excuse to put them in the system is terrible because there are already too many. So there's too many, so we should kill them. That's is that your position? There's too many kids in the system, therefore what? I agree with you. There are already too many people in the system. There are already too many kids in the system. Therefore, my response is, therefore, we should reform the system. Sounds like you're saying, therefore, we should kill them. Because we're talking about abortion. What do you mean, where am I getting that from? This is a conversation about abortion. That's where I'm getting it from. The fact that we're having a conversation about killing babies. Like I said, maybe some tax breaks and extra social programs would incentivize more people would adopt. As usual, I blame the powers that be. Exactly. So it's a measure of we need to fix the system, not kill children. Giggling Spy said, no, rapists shouldn't be rewarded with that kind of guarantee. What do you mean? What do you mean rapists shouldn't be rewarded with that kind of guarantee? Yeah, say a little more on that. I think I know where you're coming from, but I'm not really sure. All right, let's dive back in. Yeah.
Total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had this.
Come on. Come on. One more time.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number.
And notice how he said that last night, but where are all the people saying, oh, he was calling Mexicans rapists and criminals? Oh, we allowed to acknowledge that they're not sending their best people. We're allowed to acknowledge that now. Okay, fair enough. Balance said there's kids needing homes where I live. I'm not knocking in out kids from the hospitals. Okay, so you're talking about adoption. I wasn't sure where you're coming from. But that's awesome. That's amazing. I think that is a beautiful thing, and I do think that more people it should be framed as a viable option for more people, because especially now that we're in an age where especially liberal women don't want to have children, a lot of it is the pregnancy that they're really scared of, as well as the very young children. And so obviously once they're like, I don't know what the age is, but you would have to look at statistics or whatever. But once they're past like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, then the chances of them wanting to be adopted by a couple is very low. But I do think that, like 2-year-old, 2 to 5-year-olds, that's a sweet spot for kids, for couples who don't necessarily want to go through a pregnancy, don't necessarily want to raise a newborn, but they want children. And so again, I come back to the idea that if we could reform the system to a way that creates an option, or incentive rather, I think that is at least the start to the solution of there being too many kids in the foster and adoption system. That would open that up so that we can say that if you are raped or there's an incest baby, that it goes up to adoption and not just we kill it. So 67% of you said incest should not be an exception. So let's go for the final one. I think we are all going to agree. Should life of the mother be an exception? Or should we let that bitch die? Let's see. Carl said, my ideal immigration policy is we only let in fit, fertile, and attractive women 18 to 25. I like the way you think. Let's go. I am on board with that.
People that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in caravans.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
So before we move on to that, I'm seeing you guys have a conversation here, and Guamtech saying there's a time period that a fetus isn't a human yet. Care to elaborate? Because I personally disagree, but I would love to hear you out.
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed three American soldiers.
I legitimately, I'm not making a joke. I have no idea what was just said.
Killed three, and the only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed three American soldiers.
So you still don't know Laken Riley?
Killed three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that.
That's why they call it the heartbeat bill of the 6 weeks.
No terrorist ever got through. But the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people. That's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation.
Shout out to bad lip reading. Shout out to Justin Crumley with a comment of the night. Good one. And yeah, Harley, the more we this is something that as a small government guy, that this is something I would be in favor of government money being spent on instead of Ukraine or some bullshit.
Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens?
If we can.
And including those who have lived here for decades. And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed three people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the two greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on
Biden got him there, I guess.
Everything. He's the one that killed people with a bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've
Not his strongest. Biden migrant crime. I would have just called it Biden crime. Biden, like Biden with a T. Biden crime. There you go.
crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Illegal immigrants being put up in luxury hotels and veterans on the dying in the streets. Come on. Insane. Balance of the main thing stopping me is I'm alone. My son will have some influence, but I think these kids are in need big time with help. Yeah, and it's interesting because, of course, we want to say that obviously we want a home with a father and two parents. But I would venture. I don't know you, but I would venture a guess that a kid is going to be better off in your care without a father than being in foster care. So I wish you the best. I wish you the best. Either way. Yep. Vets are dying in the streets. So Giggling Spy was saying rapists shouldn't be rewarded with that kind of guarantee. Is it based on one of my pet peeves? Women who claim abortion laws force them to have babies, to which I'd say it's easy to choose not to get pregnant. Well, I mean, you said it's too long for chat. Well, I mean, we got all day, bro. There ain't nobody pushing your chats up. Give it to us. Give it to us. If you're going to throw it out there, then back it up. Staying on business, homie. Dietrich said this the stink in Biden's face isn't because he's angry. He's not paying attention at all. It's because he shit himself and already forgot. I mean, realistically, he's reading his notes. Oh, they're going to come to me next. And I'm sure that they gave him the questions beforehand. So he just has a script just there, Biden's never heard this truth before. Yep, everybody just, that's probably why it's so easy for him to lie, because they're just telling him, Biden, you're doing great. The economy is great, and Trump is so bad, and he's killing people, and don't worry about the fact that it's a terrorist who we killed. But, just say all that stuff. He's never heard this truth before. If you want, if it's if you want to throw it in Discord, I can pull that up. Or again, we also have the Rumble stream that definitely won't hurt you if you want to throw that in there. Either way. Six Drop said maybe I misheard the rules, but I thought notes were not allowed. I don't no, they've definitely they have cards in front of them. I don't remember hearing that. They just were not allowed to talk to their aides. They weren't allowed to talk to anybody from their team, as far as I remember.
Veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He is the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Everything.
So why did Jake Tapper cut him off? I thought the mics turned off when the time was over. The mic was still on, but Tapper was still talking.
Thank you, President Trump.
All of these people to come in.
Why is he cutting him off? If the mic is still on, it's still his time. Why are you cutting him off?
And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example.
Is it though? Of course not. Of course not. Come on, man. I just got lightheaded doing that. Jesus Christ. Come on, man.
in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since they passed the PACT Act.
Are they though?
1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits. Came back with,
And he died there, right? Oh no, you lied about that. So let's tie about on that. Context that I would consider consider being human. The point a fetus can feel pain and have higher brain functions. Admittedly, I don't know when that is. If abortions are legal, I want it to be done with the least amount of felt harm. Fair enough. I mean, scientifically, that is incorrect because if something is alive, it is a species. So I think what you're trying to say is that you consider being a person because the personhood is a legal status. Human being, human is just the species of what it is. So whether it's an embryo or a zygote or a fetus or whatever, what species of fetus is that? It's a human being. So from the moment of conception, it is a human. There is no question about that. The question is about when does that thing, that human that human clump of cells gain the personhood rights. So yeah. And I mean, I'm just like, I kind of get the logic that, that as long as nobody is feeling pain, that it's okay. But I mean, I just can't agree, but fair enough. Yeah, we're all we're all a little mushy today. I'm blaming it on Brandon. Giggling Spine said, I believe life starts at conception. I also believe quality of life is greater than the quantities of life, and that preborn humans deserve to be loved. I agree. Pre-written notes. Gotcha. Well, good fact check, because I didn't even I didn't know. I assumed they had, I assume he had like a printout. So there you go. Nice fact check. Carlos said, I'm of the opinion that Biden has a one-way earpiece in his hearing aid. No way he memorized his closing speech or came up with his responses. I think so too. I mean, I don't know. That again, the conspiracy is like, obviously they had to have done that. It's, have we seen his left ear? I don't know. It looks like he's listening while he's speaking. Maybe. But, they did spend the last 7 straight days going over this. And, it's not like this guy hasn't been in politics his whole life. So even the ability to bullshit is not necessarily something that, goes first. Maybe the ability to articulate the bullshit is the first that goes. But he definitely he definitely knows how to play the game of politics. And Six Drop agrees. The conspiracy, we never know how far does that conspiracy go. Giggling Spy says, what is hell if not the absence of love? Oof, I like that. All right, diving back in.
Respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits. Came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
No, you.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines.
Fake news. Wrong.
He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation.
Don't forget that they said 17% of people said that they would at least consider changing their vote because of that laptop. What are we? We're going with Hunter. Yep, they get yucky.
Information. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general.
So, Gomtech said again, I don't like abortions. This is just the furthest I'll go to give some grace to a woman making that decision. After that point, it's murder to me. King Spy said, I agree. I consider it murder, but also consider the possibility of inflicting hell on an innocent if I vote to abolish abortion. It's a tough one. It is definitely a tough one.
Made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side was on your staff who said you said it. Period.
Actually, let's stop on this for a moment. Let's think about how wild they went with this Kofifi stuff. They couldn't do that. Like the right wing could not do that with Biden because there's so many things that for one thing to stick out. I mean, we got the better calf care and the children under pressure thing, but it's just insane that they're willing to, a typo that clearly is supposed to be coffee. Clearly autocorrect that we all, experience. Autocorrect, whatever. And they just went with it. And then we have this. And it took literally this debate for people to be like, maybe, guys, hear me out. I think, maybe, I know this is a crazy idea, way out of left field, but maybe Biden should step down. I know, it's crazy, and nobody's ever thought of it before. It's like, guy, that is exactly what they are doing. So, tying a bow on the abortion thing, as I suspected, most of us agree that life of the mother should be an exception, but 22%, so I think that's one person said no, that even life of the mother should not be an exception to get an abortion. Very, very interesting. If anybody wants to, own that and talk about it, I would love to hear that position. I personally disagree, as seemingly does everybody else, but I'm always willing to hear you out. Balance said, stop it. Every time I walk past vans, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I wonder if no women are a pain in the ass. Definitely not the case. Definitely not the case. Okay. So Dietrich said, I think of an alternative version of Bill Barr's cake analogy. Bill Barr's cake analogy when it comes to the adoption argument. So if those of you haven't heard, Bill Burr has a bit about abortion where he's like, if I'm baking, I get that, it's not a baby yet, or it's a clump of cells or whatever. But I'm just saying, if I was baking a cake and I put everything and I cook, mix up the batter and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later you come and you fling that thing across the kitchen. I'm like, hey, what'd you do to my cake? And you were like, well, it's not a cake yet. I'd be like, yeah, but it would have been if you left it alone. That's Bill Burr. I mean, obviously he's funnier than I am. But that's his analogy. And so Dietrich is applying that to the adoption argument. It's like you're baking a cake and someone gets mad at you since there are so many cakes getting old and stale at the bakery, so you shouldn't make your own. I think that is a great analogy. Well, yeah, I think that's a great analogy because it doesn't the aspect of destroying the cake or the fact that there are old and stale cakes doesn't mean that new cakes shouldn't be or the new especially a new cake that's already in the oven. Well, there's too many cakes here. If it was just a cake, then like, okay, yeah, I agree. Maybe not let's make too many cakes, but when it's a baby, it's a little bit different. Maybe a little bit different. Things are kafifi or a coffee or COVID or something along those lines. But and they just ran with it for so long. People still will make fun of that. And it's like,
Come on, man.
come on, man.
Four-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything.
Hey, they come up in here. So I try to see if you guys delete stuff, but I try not to pull it up. But sometimes I don't see. So be careful when you say it. I never know if it's going to come up if you delete it.
And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war.
So why aren't you doing that?
That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now.
Are you though?
They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander in chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him.
And that's
so
what
let's
you
get
call
that
him.
straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers.
That was a weird thing that as soon as he said people are dying, Biden smiled. Like, it's little things like that people pay attention to.
Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those.
He's like, let's go. It's go time. And I think that it would behoove Trump to, you know, there's a lot that I think we've been saying, like, hey, we don't want to hear I did this and I was victimized and I was that and whatever. We've been seeing everything going on. What we really want to hear is what you're going to do for the country. But I think specifically with Afghanistan, because that's such a slam dunk, he could and we don't have the counterfactual. He could very easily be like, you know, if I had won 2020, Afghanistan would have gone so smoothly, and you know nobody would have died, and whatever. You that I definitely would have capitalized on that. Six drop. So the only thing Joe Bidet didn't do is try whipping it out to try to prove he is a bigger mixed crowd. Never mind. No, we good. Whip it out and bigger dick.
Our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left.
Oh yeah, so just even with Afghanistan, the 13 soldiers. No soldiers, no troops died under my watch. Lie. The ideal, yeah. I mean, hey, if you want to fuck some shit up, a van is the way to go. Just about did that when the golf came up. Yeah, that's coming up soon, right? That's coming up soon.
We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
Oof. Oof. So I'm curious if you guys. So we'll do them together, and then if we want, depending on the answer, we'll see. Do you think we would have been in Ukraine and Israel if Trump was the president? I'm gonna put that poll up right now.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is that
Oh,
a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place. Number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did. Putin encouraged him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish.
raise your hand if you're following what the hell he's saying. Well, let's actually try. I'm trying.
Do whatever you. This guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want.
That sounds like a good thing. World leaders telling our president, do whatever you want. I think that sounds like a good thing. Am I stupid?
This guy told Trump, do whatever you want.
So unless he meant that Trump told Ukraine to do whatever they want, which is not the case. But if Ukraine is telling Trump, do whatever you want, that's a good thing.
Do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did.
Yeah, so he meant
Putin
that.
Encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said.
Right, yeah, do whatever you want, and then we had no wars.
When he went in, he was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done.
Right.
And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
There we go. So Guam said, I thought he meant to say, Trump told Putin to do whatever you want. Oh, God, I feel like CNN. No, I mean, hey, I want to be fair. There's no, just like when, I was never Trumper, and I saw a lot of people lying about Trump. My position was, hey, Trump is bad enough. We don't need to lie about him. Just tell the truth, and we'll see that Bernie at the time is better. And obviously I was wrong, but in the principle is still the same. Like, if something is bad, then we don't have to shine it in the worst light possible. We just tell the truth. And like, even if he was trying to say that Trump told Putin to do whatever he wanted, Putin didn't invade under a Trump presidency. So what did you tell him to do, Biden? Like, either way, it doesn't mean what you think it means. So, like, you're trying to say, hey, wait until I'm out of office and then do whatever you want. That's still at least wait until I get out of office, and then the next night, then it's your responsibility. Okay, wait until I'm out of office, and then you do whatever you want. And the next guy, okay, you wait until I'm out of office. That's what we've been doing since the Cold War, have we not? I don't get it. How, like, in what way was that a good thing to say? England Spy said, easy for Trump to say, I never said that, when no one knows what was just said. I mean, yeah, easy, be like, yep, fake news, lie. I don't know what that was, but I definitely didn't say it because I speak English. Buckmaster General said, I've listened to him enough to be able to translate most of it. I mean, again, yeah, it's not like they're going super philosophically deep or deep into the weeds of foreign affairs and history and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not that hard to piece together what he means, but it's just the fact that it's weakness. It's weakness personified. Crazy. So 89% say no, we would not have been involved with Gaza or Ukraine if Trump won. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Wars or no wars? No wars, please.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire.
And again, was he doing that under your administration or Trump's? Wait, he was not doing anything under Trump's administration. And he did all of this stuff under you. So that's your failure. You're highlighting your own failure right now. Good job. Shout out to M169. Welcome to the party. So it's the fact that he struggles as badly as he does. Right.
Not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries?
Under you? Yeah, probably World War III. Under Trump, I think he's like, we're good.
And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, and by the way, all that money we give Ukraine from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO.
Oh, that's much better. That's much better. I'm glad we're not sending cash to Ukraine, that we're just spending our own money on weapons and sending the weapons. That makes things really good. That's a completely different situation. I'm pro Biden now.
Allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones.
And you and the entire military industrial complex, right? Or are we going to pretend that's not a thing? Shout out to Ayush Gupta. Welcome to the party. So Trump never gives specifics, just makes wild assertions. Apparently, that's still more than what the other guy can do, unfortunately. Well, yes, but also at this stage, the first debate in general, but especially the debate being in fucking June, as opposed to it's usually in August, right? The fact that we're this early on, you don't want to get into the weeds. You don't want to get into specifics. You want to just show that you're the better guy by the optics. That's what these are for. They might act like it's to see, let's see them match their ideas. That's not what this is. This is just put them both there and let's see what they do when they're not in little clips or behind a desk, where on a 2-minute talking point or something like that. It's not about giving specifics. And so I agree with you, but I wouldn't suggest that he would give specifics. I think that would be a bad move because that gets boring and people don't care about that as much as they should. People don't care about that. And that's what these are for, is getting people to like you. Welcome to the party, though. Carlos said, openly stealing this election with Biden is a good power move because it forces MAGA to expect and accept future rigged elections or start a confrontation from a military disadvantageous position. Yeah. Oof. Crazy. One thing said, so everyone running defense for Brandon is saying that he is known to have a stutter. Can we pull up a debate from 2020 and compare his stutter from then to now? We certainly can. So let's see. Biden debate 2020. All right, let's do this. Filters. Oh, they can't do more than. That's annoying. Okay. Come on. How far do we need to go? 3 years ago. Okay. Donald Trump is the most racist president.
I am the least racist person. I can't even see.
Follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. Like, this is a perfect comparison. We have side by side, just like it was. This was 4 years ago.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. He started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because
why would we want to get rid of Mexican? I mean, we definitely want those Mexican rapists.
They're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys. Last time we were on stage here, he said, I told them to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
I mean, night and day. And that was already after the point at which we were saying that, Joe Biden, again, the Atlantic article, Joe Biden, please, bring your corporeal form. All we need is your corporeal form to beat Trump. And I mean, unfortunately that worked, but compared to this.
End of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're trying to say the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way,
shout out to Devin Gilson. Welcome to the party. So I agree that Trump doesn't elaborate about his plans. But at this point, we know both candidates' track records. This has to be the most pointless debate because of this fact. Yeah, and this is the first time this has ever happened. First time we've ever had two incumbents debating each other. And that's why it's not really about, like, we've lived under their presidency. We don't have to do any guesswork. They don't necessarily have to sell us on that. Yeah. Oh, Galen Spy, you didn't remember that when Biden called him Abraham Lincoln? Like, it's so close. It's so close to being a good comment, but it's just one click off. Like Abraham Lincoln over here. It's like, wait. Abraham Lincoln wasn't not racist. Or I mean, not to say he wasn't racist, but he certainly ended slavery. So for whatever that's worth. MSC9 said I knew something was up with Biden when he got in that auto worker's face. Yeah. Hey, man. Like, bro, chill out. And yeah, I mean, that's another aspect of dementia, is not just forgetting things, but the inability to control your emotions. And I mean, it would definitely be a lot more sad if it wasn't so it just holds so much weight. If it wasn't so sensitive, if it wasn't so important that we don't have somebody whose brain is melting, then it would be sad, but it makes me angry. Balance said the sad part is Biden is more conservative than Trump. He just does and says whatever gets him votes. Bingo. Comment of the night. I think this is our comment of the night. Absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that Trump is a lifelong Democrat. He is the rich elite. He was always part of the that establishment. Yeah, going to see even Brandon's comebacks. At least then had a little kick to him. Not buffalo flavor, but definitely mild spicy Parmesan back then. Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. So then, if we go and let's look at Joe Biden, let's say, okay, Joe Biden young. Let's see what that comes up with. Look at that fucking thumbnail. Oh, I love that. All right, let's get some classic Joe. All right, watch how oh, gang. Shout out to Insider News where we go. Look at the difference between 2018 or yeah. Where's the last one? 2017, 2020. I mean, the color in his face is gone. Oof. I mean, I guess the lighting, but still. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for, but here we go. When Joe Biden was a young senator at 30 years old.
The youngest new face in the U.S. Senate next year.
That's right. He was the youngest senator when he was elected.
There will be that of
1972.
Democrat Joseph Biden of Delaware. So young, in fact, that at the time of his election on November 7th, Biden was not yet old enough to serve. Yesterday, that problem was resolved. ABC Capitol Hill correspondent Bob Clark has the story.
What's something like what's the word I'm looking for? What's something like big that would have happened in 1972? That's before my time, obviously. I don't know, but like just name something that would be 1972. What's the first thing, if you were alive, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
They gave a surprise party yesterday for Joe Biden, who will make history because of his age when he takes his seat in the new Senate.
Like, he's younger than me here. I mean, like a specific thing.
That's of the election, while hoping older members won't hold his age against him.
I expect these fellas are going to eventually judge me on my merit, not on my age, and I have to establish that merit.
Okay, there you go. I thought the war was during this time, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, so this is back in the Vietnam War. There you go.
I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. Beyond having other senators' staffs think I'm applying for a job or as a page or something.
Would you like to see some changes in the seniority system?
Well, I would like to see some changes in the seniority system, but and it's not going to make any difference my saying this, but it's not because I'm 30 and coming in. I think that the seniority system...
Well, he said, I. Do we count that as a stutter?
Saying this, but it's not because I'm 30 and coming in. I think...
Oh, he's a stutter! Confirmed, as Snopes would say.
That the seniority system has many more drawbacks than it has merits. Where I'm not going to lead any move to change that in my formative years in the Senate, but were there to be such a vote to come up, I clearly would vote to eliminate the seniority system.
To eliminate the seniority system. I don't even really know what that is, but it's just the irony. The irony. Carl says Biden was in the Senate during Carter and became a worse president than Carter. That can't be a coincidence. Yeah, hard to argue with that. Nothing wrong with hippies. Nothing. I used to call myself a neo-hippie. I was like, I'm pretty much, when I was very liberal, I was like, lots of weed, LSD, epic music. I just take showers. So I'm a neo-hippie. Bell bottoms, foam with leashes. Poor guy was already going bald. True. And it's interesting that, like, if you're going bald back then, how do you still have the same amount of hair? That don't make no sense. The 45 rules of communism in education started. Is that when is that what it was? The LSD is still amazing. I don't know. I mean, I didn't do LSD in the 70s, but LSD is still amazing. They did not have gel tabs in the 70s, I'm pretty sure. And those gel tabs are the one.
The indications are that you may be 100th.
Oh, I was like, why? That sounds weird.
Some people we're providing 1,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons.
Oh yeah, Watergate. Good call, Giggling Spy. That was Watergate.
They need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed. And
I'm sorry.
We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the.
Well, that was definitely a stutter. I mean, what can we say? Fact check. True. Biden stutters among many other things. Kyle says, I was amazed Trump didn't bring up Biden showering with his daughter when the porn star and rape accusations came up. That's a knockout shot. I agree. I don't understand why that you wouldn't bring that up. I don't get it. That it was, like you said, knockout shot. Some pattern baldness is a thing. My dad had nothing on top, but had hair on the rear and sides. Yeah, but he's still got the whole comb over deal. Like if we go back to the faces of Biden, as like he was already, he's already balding here, but all of this hair is still there. So like he has more hair here and losing it, and then again 2004 there. So I don't know. Nick said 1972 is what you asked. Yep. Watergate, Magnavox Odyssey, don't know what that is, Apollo's final mission, and Summer Olympics in Munich. There you go. Zig jumps and say how to say you're Gen X without saying you're Gen X. Right, but if you had hair plugs, then you would think it would be fuller. It would be like filled in, not wispy like that. I don't know. I was just known. I don't really care that much, but weird. Also, I turned 4 years old. There you go. Happy 4th birthday, 1972 to Giggling Spy.
We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so they're two different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful.
I don't necessarily disagree with a surgical strike type of operation like we did in bin Laden, but I mean, also, how about just let them do their own shit and leave them alone?
For what using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent 100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of
Brian ate a sugar cube laced in LSD. Everybody knows what that is, then you are a real one. If anybody knows what that is from, you are a real one. They shut everybody every time Biden says, by the way. Yeah, that's what Gontek, you were saying that, right? By the way. Like, bro, just say what you're saying.
Your money like I did with NATO. I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location. Because
getting spies their money. Look.
We have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President,
he's got a lot of Bidenisms. The idea that's malarkey. All right, by the way.
But they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. You're going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO.
I love that. Maybe.
Much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. You're going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO.
Let's do it.
the idea that we have our strength lies in our alliances as well.
It's no joke.
It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine.
But again, the point here that you're glossing over is that he already stopped Putin without NATO, and you, with NATO, were not able to stop Putin. And if we are tied into this, and you are not able to lead NATO with all the money going in, then maybe it is better that we're not part of NATO. If everybody's going to start fighting, let's stay the fuck out of it. How about that? I'm honestly surprised he didn't use his catchphrase once. That's not a lie. This isn't hyperbole. He can't use them all.
Then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent?
If some of your political photos are in black and white, you might have been there a little too long. Agreed. I was not sure where the Sugar Cube LSD reference is from, but I just queued up SLC Punks in my feed. There you go. Oh my God. I haven't, you know what? I'm taking a note. I haven't seen SLC Punk in a minute. SLC Punk. Oh, let's see. Is it? Put a one in the chat if you have seen SLC Punk. Shout out to Matthew. What's his name? Matthew Lillard. Is it on Prime? Okay, $3. I think I'm gonna watch that. tonight. SLC Punk. Let's see what. I just want to see what scenes come up. Hopefully, it doesn't screw up the whole thing. Oh damn! The full movie right here. Let's go. I'm Bob.
You heard about Sean, right?
No, what happened to Sean?
Well, you know he was selling acid, right?
No, man, I told you, $25, man. $25. It's inflation.
Shit's getting expensive.
Thanks, man.
No problem. Nice spikes.
Nice fucking suit. Let me ask you something.
He's a mod.
Sean, what the fuck did you become a punk for?
Hey, man, come on. The kid wants to be a punk. Let him be a punk.
Let's go. Is this a? I want to see this part. So he's selling LSD.
So Sean puts all this acid in his pocket, and the school cop.
Where was this?
Southeast High, man. So he takes off running, and he's running through the track field, and the sprinklers are on.
Music. Okay. The USA.
So the water soaks.
Hold on, back that up. So the water soaks through his pants and melts the acid, which went through his pants and onto the skin and on his hands. So over 100 hits of acid dissolved into Sean's leg. Fried him. So I went to see him.
Like a week later, and it just snowed, and he was sitting outside in the cold.
I'm Bob!
Sean? What are you doing outside, man?
Are you him?
Yeah, I'm him.
Jesus! Have I sinned or am I going to heaven?
You're frying, man. How much acid did you take?
You're not Jesus. You're Bob.
I'm Bob. All right, we're gonna get copyrighted if we do it anymore. But if anybody wants to watch SLC Punk after this for the after party, let me know. Giggling Spy said Biden looks off in every freeze frame, while Trump looks good in most, if not all. That's because he's there and he's aware that the cameras are on him. All right, where were we? Yeah. Guys, we are coming close to that 2.5 hour mark, and I would love to keep the party raging. If you do, you know how to do it.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, The problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this. I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time?
Like, not if you fucking bring it on yourself. Hell no.
Nations at that time. And I said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump.
Our
democracy. I want to ask you about
democracy.
January 6, 2021. After
Oh,
rallied with
Jesus.
supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution.
Will you accept the results of the election?
What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th.
Actually, no, a lot of people believe that. Unfortunately, it's not true, but a lot of people do, in fact, believe that.
On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy.
No, Biden, you want to shake your head and say that on January 6th, 2021, that we did not have a good border? Look at him shake his head.
We had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible.
Spin on that thing, you feel me?
Including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically.
Fact check. True.
And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, like they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way,
Those behind this,
in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C.
And so look what I've got. And before we do that, shout out to our boy, the Funk Master General. Everybody better like that damn super chat. This man keeping the show rolling on his goddamn self. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, no question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Out sponsoring yourself once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much, sir. I really, really do appreciate it. So what were they talking about with Nancy Pelosi? What could they be talking about?
Seen videos being shared by the January 6th committee reveal a lot of things, including how quickly congressional leaders asked to bring out the National Guard. And as Les Trent reports, there is also an unguarded moment in which House Speaker Nancy Pelosi reveals her frustration with then President Trump.
I want to punch him out.
It's the stunning moment Nancy Pelosi said she wanted to punch out President Trump.
I want to punch him out.
She was in her office on January 6, 2021, watching the Trump rally, which led to the storming of the Capitol.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol
peacefully and patriotically.
I want to punch him out.
Make your voices heard.
I'm going to go to jail, and I'm going to be happy.
I'm going to punch him out. But he's so violent. He's so horrible.
I spoke with CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland.
She said she would punch him, right? And that she may go to jail. It's something we don't hear often. It's a moment that's unique in American history.
It was recorded by Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Alexandra, a documentary filmmaker. Portions of the video were shown yesterday by the January 6th committee. More excerpts were obtained by CNN.
We have got to finish the proceedings or else we're going to have to come to
We have to finish the proceedings or they get a complete victory.
Lawmakers were evacuated to Fort McNair, a military base 2 miles away.
And let's not forget about when AOC was right outside the Capitol saying the same thing. Let's see, January 6th.
The House Speaker's office is ransacked minutes after she left the Capitol. Lawmakers watched live on TV from their secure location at the military base.
They said somebody was shot. It was just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States.
Senator Chuck Schumer frantically called the Pentagon.
We need a full National Guard component now.
And Pelosi and Schumer reached out to the acting Attorney General.
Yeah, why don't you get the President to tell them to leave the Capitol?
There we go. Shout out to Six Job. That is what I want to see. Everybody, 5 likes on the super chat. Thank you. I want everybody to appreciate as much as I do. Obviously, the money's going in my pocket, but the show continues. And also, it's his 3rd super chat. I don't know why it does that. You've done 3 in one show, and still every single time. Let's celebrate their 3rd super chat on a live stream. It's hilarious. They saying being the man once again. You can't stop this man from unleashing the funk. There you go. Don't sit. Impeach the wax women, Pelosi and Waters. I like it.
And Schumer reached out to the acting Attorney General.
Yeah, why don't you get the President to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General?
So go home. We love you. You're very special.
We issued a statement saying he's got to make a statement. He comes up with this BS.
Insurrection.
Oh, yeah.
That's a crime, and he's guilty.
I don't think so. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Balance Cheers with the is that Australian $10. Thank you so very much. And Morty is really appreciating that. Thank you. Very much appreciated. You guys are so generous, and I feel so blessed. I really do appreciate you guys not just hanging out, not just being part of the conversation, but seeing that there's something else going on here and contributing to it means the world to me. So thank you so very much. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you again to all of you who have been donating.
Make a statement. He comes up with this BS.
Insurrection.
Oh, yeah.
That's a crime, and he's guilty of it.
Meanwhile, former President Trump released a lengthy response to the committee's vote to subpoena him. The first line in all caps repeats the false claim that the presidential election of 2020 was rigged and stolen.
Yup.
And he calls the hearings a charade and a witch.
This wasn't it. But they have something. Is this it?
Chairman of the House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight. Chairman, thank you.
But our objective is to get to the truth of what really happened. And this admitted that it was really her responsibility because we're just trying to we know that the select committee, her partisan select committee, spent about $20 million just trying to put the blame on Trump. But in the heat of the moment, she admitted that it was really her responsibility because we know that the chief of police, Chief Son, had made numerous requests for the National Guard.
New footage on January 6th. I take responsibility.
To come to the Capitol, but somewhere in leadership that was denied multiple times. And as we heard on this tape, which we just received on Friday from HBO, that she took full responsibility for.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous.
Indeed.
You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police?
Yes.
I mean, the National Guard?
Maybe.
Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
there's not a question of how they don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepared for war.
So here's a question. Should voting...
In plain English, if anybody is responsible for January 6th, it is Nancy Pelosi, aka and Chuck Schumer, aka Amy Schumer's cousin. Let's grab some of these. Shout out against Balance and Funk, and don't forget about our boy Zippy also doing the damn thing, as well as Garrett with the gifted memberships. Got you guys all. Carl said, I thought Trump was full of crap in 2016, got pushed over the edge to vote for him in 2020 after the summer of love, voting Trump 2024 because they stole it from him last time. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, let's get back to it. Oh, wait. There was one more thing that I wanted to show you real quick in case you forgot about it.
Move on without accountability. We cannot heal without accountability.
Overnight, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez opening up for the first time about her experiences during the Capitol riot.
All of a sudden, I hear, boom.
No, this isn't it. But there was one, again, she was out, let's see, here. I'm pretty sure she was just like out front of, was this it?
These insurrectionists,
Like Antifa?
and that there were actual officers working with this, and we never got to the bottom of that, and we never got any answers about that, and then to this day we're just supposed to pretend that that never happened.
Based AOC.
I have no idea what happened to the people on the inside who were very clearly sympathetic with what was going on and opening the doors wide open.
Like Nancy Pelosi.
And I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like none of that ever happened. And then right afterwards, you have a massive, you just have this idea that throwing money at that problem is going to make it go away without any accountability. And so this is where these things are breaking down. We're not safe. And it's not just about members of Congress not being safe. The food staff workers aren't safe. The janitors aren't safe. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this.
I mean, how do you disagree with that? So when we look back and when we really look at the totality of what happened on that day, to put it on Trump is just silly, absolutely silly.
Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down. The mayor of D.C. They turned it down.
How do you not know what a deadhead is? That's insane. That's insane to me. Like the Grateful Dead? Somebody who follows the Grateful Dead? Like I thought that was like a given. I thought that was gonna be a given. But all right, damn. So I guess we're definitely not getting Voyage 34 then. But all right.
By the way, the mayor in writing turned it down. The mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see. I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill. No.
Did he though? Or did you and your people by creating a false narrative?
Number one, I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America.
That's why I've never heard of a deadhead who hasn't heard the Framing a Deadhead. That's a verse. That's a first. New experiences every single day.
In fact, he says he'll not forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no, he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases.
Fighting for Americans.
Scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done.
I thought you just said he packed the Supreme Court, and the only reason that Roe v. Wade was overturned is because they were just listening to him.
Didn't do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to.
But they're not being held. They're not being held accountable. They're just being held. No trial. I mean, I don't know the number, but there are people who are still to this day sitting in jail without a trial. So that's not how that's supposed to work at all.
People should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President
Carl said, someone needs to tell AOC that black people aren't stupid and they know she doesn't talk like a Southern black preacher when she isn't around a bunch of black people. She does it every time. Well, this just goes to the liberal bias. Like, this is a common thing with liberals, that they speak down to different races of people. And even though she is not a white person, it's still a liberal mindset that minorities and black people are dumber. And so you have to speak to them in a different way. That is racist. Balance said, I went on a trip yesterday. Guess what was blasting? The Grateful Dead. Deadhead in Aussie means gone in the mind. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's a cultural thing. But shout out to the Deadhead. Deadheads generally had a bad head. Good one. Good one. Good one.
Says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, and you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right.
The J6ers got released yesterday? What? January 6th. Oh, that's not one. January 6th, release. Limits obstruction charges, rules for, let's see what WAPO says. Justice strikes. Justice strike. Oh, Jesus. Get out of here. Let me just read the damn thing. Where are we? Oh, right. Federal prosecutors improperly charged a January 6th defendant, with obstruction. The Supreme Court ruled on Friday that this Friday? What is this from? This is today. Okay, so ruled a Friday a decision that will likely upend many cases against riders who disrupted the certification of the 2020 presidential election, and one which Donald Trump's legal team may try to use to whittle down one of his criminal cases. After J6, federal prosecutors prosecuted more than 350 people with obstructing or impeding official proceedings. Charge carries a 20-year maximum penalty as part of the law enacted after the exposure of massive fraud and shredding of documents during the collapse of Enron. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts said prosecutors' overly broad reading of the statute gives them too much discretion to seek a 20-year maximum, quote, for acts Congress saw fit to punish only with far shorter terms of imprisonment. The decision sends down the case of alleged rioter Joseph Fisher back to the lower courts in additional litigation in light of the majority's finding that prosecutors must show a defendant impaired records, documents, or other objects for use in official proceedings. Other defendants charged with obstruction can also now seek to have that charge dismissed. 2 of the 4 charges Trump faces for allegedly conspiring to obstruct the 2020 election results are based on the obstruction statute that at issue in the court's decision. Jack Smith, who brought the case against Trump, has said that even if the Supreme Court ruled the charge was improper for the rioters, it should still stand for whatever. Trump's Trump spoken said big one. So I mean, I guess they're making moves. Attorney Merrick Garland said he was disappointed. Oh, poor baby. Quote, January 6th was an unprecedented attack on the cornerstone. Oh, this is Garland. I don't care about all this. That's how they ruled. Interesting. dissented, joined the majority, and gotcha. Okay. So did anyone actually get released? Let's see if some writers who have been challenged, challenged their sentences based on the argument made in Fisher have already been granted early release. But 80% of the 1,400 people charged in the attack on the Capitol were not charged with obstructing the proceeding. Most were charged with trespassing on federal property. So they're shit out of luck. But at least that's something. That's something. So shout out. I guess we're moving in the right direction, guys. We are moving in the right direction. Nick said we called our buddy Jared Jerry Bear in high school. Had a few deadheads as friends back then. A few was most of them in my school. They tend to be cool cats. There you go. Yeah, they were initially hit with 20, but the Supreme Court handled it. There we go. Bouncing. I still got half dreads. I hide them though these days. Why? Let your freak flag fly. Let it fly. Let your deadhead, bedhead, deadhead, dreadhead fly. Yeah, Six Drop said, meanwhile, the cartels are having a fiesta at the border. Trespassing on property, their taxes paid for, but, yeah. I mean, that should be a technicality, but I mean, it is still, it's illegal.
They destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden.
Yeah, I've been hearing a little bit about what Garland's doing. So Carl said in regards to the J6 cases, they must appeal to throw out these charges. Merrick Garland has said he will increase the penalties on other trespassing charges if they appeal.
Haram!
I got it. And don't forget that this was Obama's pick for the Supreme Court.
The information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
He's just like, yep.
He isn't.
And?
What he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill.
Except for telling everybody to go home, right? That would be doing something. You liar.
All those people, every one of those who was convicted deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied
is the truth.
Offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing to
I didn't like that wording, but he legitimately said, stand down. That means don't do anything.
Denounce these guys? We denounce the people we're talking about now?
Yeah, Killing Spy said, convicted by a corrupt system is not a win for you, Biden.
You denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute.
I love it. Trump is just like, are you talking to me? I don't even know what you're saying, bro.
President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor.
Fire the prosecutor.
This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. we'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you.
In case you missed it, 2006, Prosecutor Victor Shokin, in his investigation of corruption in Burisma Holdings, a natural gas company, with what's his face, fucking, you can read it. Not wanting his corruption to be exposed, Joe Biden swung into action using U.S. loan guarantees as hostage while demanding Shokin be fired. Amazingly, Joe Biden now brags about
I
this.
remember going over convincing our team or others to convincing us that we should.
And I'm sure most of you seen this before, but I'm sure there's somebody who's going to stumble upon this who has not.
Be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion.
You don't have the right to do that, Joe.
They said, you have no authority. You're not the
They were right.
president. The president said, I said, call him.
They should have. They should have, because then it would have been verified, and this would not be an issue for you, Joe. But you tried to posture, and now it's coming back to bite you.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it was 6 hours. I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the
That guy's not fired.
you're
not
not
getting $1
the money.
billion.
Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Solid. Quid pro quo.
Rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
Coming right to you, sir, just in case you weren't paying attention.
Well, you want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to
the idea
what you're talking about is outrageous.
Is it though? Because I'm pretty sure we just watched it.
Simply a lie, number one.
No, it's not.
Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president.
I agree. You don't have the right to seek retribution against any American just because you're a president. So stop doing it. Idiot.
The idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong.
I agree.
Simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before.
Except you. You're doing it right at this moment. You might not be speaking those words, but you're doing that thing. And in my world, actions speak louder than words.
No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billion?
Like, how do you go from no president ever done that? Now let's talk about what I'm charging you with.
Millions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking
about?
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Okay, that was a good one.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one.
Own it. Nobody cares. Again, why? You don't need to lie about it. We know that you fucked Stormy Daniels. We don't care.
Two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat.
And you're, was it, I apologize, I forget who it was, but saying that, he should have used this opportunity instead of defend himself. Be like, bro, what are we even talking about? You showered with your daughter. We have 1,000 videos of you sniffing children. You're a fucking weirdo. Like, hey, bro, would you rather a president who's fucked a porn star or fucked a child? Seems like an easy choice. Shout out to Giggling Spy with a $5 Rumble Rant. Thank you so very much. Said, here's to enjoying your content. I'm very, very glad that you do. Awesome. Thank you. So very, very much appreciated.
We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined.
That's us. That's us. He's talking shit about us.
To destroy American democracy.
We want to, yeah. I mean, less democracy, more republic. I'm with it.
Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes.
Oh, so we're stupid. Oh, okay. Okay. Your voters are just listening to you tell them that despite their groceries are 4 times as expensive, that the economy is good. You've built it back better. But we're the dumb ones. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Six Trap said, I was told that all the guys who signed the Declaration of Independence were at that point criminals against the monarchy. I don't know why I've never heard this brought up before, but fantastic point. Fantastic point. They were all treasonous. This is treason. This country exists based on treason. So even if that was the case, which it is absolutely not, it would still be based. Great point. Great point from Six Drops. Goes on to say, I still got a question about Biden's story about the kids. Petting his leg hair. Why is that even a thing? I lived a long time and never seen a kid come run up to pet a dude's legs. Because he's weird and a chomo. I mean, once we get to so I think maybe Trump didn't want to hit Biden with showering with his daughter because his base is conservative and he thought they would see that as classless. I agree. Unusually astute move for Trump. So I mean, I agree. But because it's CNN, I bet you a lot of the people watching who are for Biden have never heard about the diary. And so maybe if you brought it up subtly and something like, I read what happened in the diary. I don't know what was happening with Ashley, but she said something weird was going on. I don't know. Something like that, where you're not, hitting the nail on the head. That would probably be a smarter. But I think you're right in the sense that it shouldn't have gone, right for the jugular. But I do think he should have brought it up. Funkmaster said, didn't she say Trump made her watch Shark Week? What? I don't know, but that's a punishment worse than I don't know. You remember when Shark Week was awesome, and then it wasn't? Ballot said, creepy stuff. The way Biden palms kids' chins with his hand is a prime pedo move. Yep. Dylan said, Biden and his puppet mistress can shove it. I said, I think Trump is saving that tidbit until next time. That makes sense. That makes sense. You save the aces up your sleeve. Higgling Spy says, Corn Pop was actually a good dude trying to protect kids from a creepy lifeguard. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face.
Right, and you were the one who just said that going after your political opponent was something we shouldn't do, right? And now you're bragging that that's happening. Make it make sense.
I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you hear any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved around the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wouldn't.
Caught himself, died in because of Iraq.
I'm going to run again. Until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches.
Carrying swastikas? Was anybody carrying swastikas? Let's fact check that. Charlottesville 2017 riot swastika. Let's see. Vox, the worst place you could possibly go for legitimate information. This week in Charlottesville from August 2017. This week in Charlottesville rally represents an alliance between pro-Confederates and Nazis. All right. I see no swastikas there. Okay. Okay, Nazi symbols and ideology. Okay, where that at? Where that at though? Where they at though? Where they at though? Attendees rally also wore Nazi, but no pictures of that. No pictures of that. We're just gonna say it. Okay, so let's go to photos then. That is the that's not the Charlottesville thing. That's the find people on both sides. Oh wow, one guy with a piece of cardboard, and that makes all of them Nazis. Come on, man. And I would bet money that it was somebody on the left. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's the stuff that he needs to hammer in the second debate. And well, here's the other thing though, because if they're taking Joe out, then you don't get the opportunity to hit him on that stuff. So I don't know. Oh yes, the wannabe Jezebel and Diet Vice. And Vice is gone. So
happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people?"
What do you think of Michael Reinhold, the guy who shot a Trump supporter in cold blood because of that, the misreporting on that? And then he got, speaking of Vox, a feature on Vox.
People the ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones he said, I think they're fine people on both sides. What American president would ever say, Nazis coming out of fields, carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic?
I don't know, M69. Have you been on Twitter? Have you been watching anything? The only discussion around this right now is the fact that they need to get Biden out of there. That's the only discussion from the analyst desk right after this debate. They were starting to talk about how there's a panic in the Democratic Party and they need to figure out what they're going to do, and they need to shift, and they need to all of this stuff. So even if it is the 25th Amendment, then they have no plan. It seems like they have no plans on keeping him around. 6 drops. I am not moved by the weak scare tactics, nor should you. Barely there, Biden. There you go. That's a good one. Trump hit him with the super predator line. That was good. Yep. Even though that was Hillary, but not that it matters. Dylan said Nazis coming out of fields and other made up Democrat stories. But unless he agrees they can't do anything, technically, but they have a lot on him. He's been in the government for 40, what is it, 40? Yeah, 40, almost 40 years. So they definitely got something. Shout out to You Win TV over on Twitch. Welcome. So, but they interviewed Democrats and they didn't say they want to replace him. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are saying that. Some are, some aren't, but a lot of people are saying it. And I am of the opinion the whole reason they moved this debate up so early is to push Biden out there, show everybody, especially the voters, a lot of voters. I don't know if you've been on TikTok today, but a lot of people are like, oh, we got to get rid of this dude. And I think the plan was hang on to the status quo as much as possible. Joe Biden was the president. We're riding with Biden, and then do this. And then use this as the opportunity, be like, oh, well, he was doing good, but he had such a bad performance, this is not going to beat Trump. And they know that. So I wouldn't be so confident on anything that's going to happen in the next 4 months. Welcome to the party. You Win TV. 6 drops said, I heard the reason for the earlier debate was due to wanting him to kind of step down, and he said, no way. And so I definitely believe that he doesn't want to, but I don't believe that the entire establishment system cannot get one man to do what they want him to do. John said, riding with Biden is somehow worse than Hillary. Yeah, well, at least I didn't vote for the worst president in history. Balance said Trudeau paid lefties to show up at a trucker rally with Nazi signs. Yep. UNTV said he was way less popular last election and still won, though. Yeah, somebody brought that up earlier as well. But I mean, he could form sentences. We brought up some of the footage from the 2020 debate, and he could form sentences. The rate of decline over the last 4 years has been so bad. And again, it's the voters, the people who have been, again, riding with Biden the whole time, hate Trump, never Trumpers. These are the people who are saying, oh man, we got to get rid of him. So again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that it is very clear that that was the narrative that they wanted to push. Like I said earlier, there was not 1 second of CNN analysis that was, okay, now that Biden just performed poorly, how does he recover? They immediately went to there's a panic and people are talking about replacing him. And so if CNN is talking about that, then that's not the first they're talking about it. There's definitely discussions going on behind closed doors. Shout out to Gary Hood. Welcome to the party. Said, all I'm going to say about Biden is he does not have a brain suffering from dementia so bad that it ain't even funny. He does not have a brain suffering from dementia so bad that it ain't even funny. I would strongly disagree and say that he absolutely is suffering from dementia so bad it ain't even funny. But teach their own. Trudeau. Six Drive said, dumb question. Is there any country that would support Biden without the money? Of course not. And yeah, see, Gary Hood saying they need to get Biden out of office. Were you planning on voting for Biden, Gary? Yeah, it seems to be the conclusion. All right, let's see how much we
Nazis
get
coming
through
out
here.
of fields, carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas. We're fine people. And this is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said.
Right, but so here's what they can so they already have the precedent that he's taken the psychological test and he's not I forget what it was for. Whatever it was for. He took the test and he failed the test. They said they wouldn't charge him with whatever because he couldn't stand trial. So they already have that. So, again, fact check me on this, but what I've heard is that if they go all the way to the DNC and make him the nominee, and then there is a medical emergency, I don't know if that would technically fall under the 25th Amendment or if that's just part of the DNC, kind of like in the gray area where he's the nominee, but then he has to fall out. And if it's after he's already been nominated, then they don't need to go through any type of primary or election process. They can just, the DNC delegates just pick. And so then that they can, they can skip over Kamala at that point, and it'll be so late in the game that everybody will just be like, all right, well, I mean, this is what we got. The same way people like myself in 2016 were all for Bernie, and then last minute DNC fucked him, and I felt like, well, I don't know what to do except to vote for Hillary. And I like to think I'm a little smarter than the average person, and I was still that stupid. So I think it's reasonable to think that they could do that and pull it off. We will see. Balanchette said, I'm wondering why Stacey Abrams was a top guest at Bilderberg convention recently. All presidents come from there. She played President of Earth in a Star Trek A prediction? Maybe. Carl said they're stuck with Biden, I think, because their black female woke voter base know Kamala is their representative, and they will leave the party in droves if she is stepped over. They can't lose more black people. Interesting. But yeah, there's so many factors at play that to be like, oh no, this is definitely going to happen, or that's definitely going to happen. If you think so, maybe. I think you're correct, but you have to get through the nomination. Then the delegates go to whoever they pick, right? And so if the delegates and the DNC are already of the position that, hey, we should replace Biden, then the easiest thing for them would be to stick with Biden instead of needing to do whatever other processes, including the primaries or whatever it is, that would allow whoever wants to run to be able to run. Gary said, subscribe to your channel. Thank you. So very much appreciated. Welcome to the party. Live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So ring that bell because you never want to miss a party. Six Draft said, I wonder how many voters are crawling through the borders in droves. Lots. Balance, did Michelle Obama just say she might step in? I might be wrong there. From what I've heard, she said she doesn't want to. That doesn't mean she won't, but as far as I've heard, and this is a third party, I didn't hear it from her, but I think it was CNN or MSNBC that was saying that she didn't want to. So whatever that means. Mr. Nine said, as someone who pointed out, if they don't pick Kamala, they lose the female black vote. I don't know if they do. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if that's why would they all of a sudden be for Trump? Like, I mean, maybe they wouldn't vote if that's what you're saying. But I don't really think that Kamala is pulling in that many black female voters. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it's too much in the air. Too much is in the air.
This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And debunked. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's...
We did, and you lied. We did, and you lied. That did not happen. He said, not the neo-Nazis, not the white supremacists. Over and over and over again. We've shown that video. Funkmaster said, so the Democrats that want him out after last night just realized he's a mess? Yes, they've been watching CNN. They've been watching CNN. They've been telling you it's a stutter. They've been telling you the economy's good. They've been telling you Trump is the worst thing ever. So yes, it needed to be that. And so that is why it makes sense to me that they would move the debate up to give themselves time to get people on their side of getting Joe Biden out of there, so that whatever is their plan, it's already in motion. It's June, and it's already in motion. MSN said, not saying they go for Trump, but word is they fear losing that demographic by passing her over. I mean, I would need to talk to people. I don't know. What are black women saying about that? I find it very hard to believe that black people are like, oh yeah, Kamala, she's representing us. Like, I just don't see that. I just don't see that. So maybe I'm way off base, but I would have to see people actually, like, I've never heard anybody say anything about Kamala affecting anything about their voting patterns. And Trump is such a big factor that, I mean, if they're already planning on voting Biden-Harris, then clearly it's just a protest vote. So I don't know. You might be absolutely right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know how much that changes if they're already just saying never Trump. Because it might, I mean, and if they're never Trump, how many of them are never Trump versus never Trump and not voting versus never Trump and, well, I'm going to vote for Biden because Kamala Harris is there. I don't know. And I mean, that's a good point. That is how stupid Democrat voters are. But that's exactly why I'm not sticking my flag in any one position. I have no idea what is going to happen. No idea.
All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that
And you lied at the
somehow
time.
that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches.
But he didn't. And again, we've already had a Trump presidency, and it was better than life is right now. What are you saying?
And he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all.
You don't
And
deserve
the
to be president,
idea
motherfucker.
that he's
He
talking
literally
about all this being fabricated. We saw with our own
come
eyes.
on,
We saw
man.
what happened
Just
on
sit
January 6th.
around.
We
Why do
saw
you
the
keep
people
jumping
breaking
down?
windows. We saw people occupying
stay.
his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well.
Because he was really bad at putting people around him the first time.
They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
President Biden, while Black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and Black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
Acknowledge you made a lot of progress, number one.
You're wrong. You're too dumb, Blackie. You don't get it. I've done a lot. I made a lot of progress.
Disappointed that you haven't made more progress.
They acknowledge you made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small Black businesses that have been started than any time in history.
Any time in history.
Number two, the wages of Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate operations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that Black families have to make.
And that's why I'm so uncertain about anything. I'm so uncertain about anything. I have no idea. I know that there's a play being made. I just don't know what it is. So I'm just here ready to be like, okay, this is happening, and what's going to happen next? As always, right?
Like relative to childcare is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce Black childcare costs. I cut them in half. We're going to make sure we provide for childcare costs.
That sounds like a lie. I don't know anything. I don't have kids. I have never needed the use of daycare, but that sounds like a lie. Does anybody have daycare age children that can verify that? Six Drop said, to be honest, I really thought that adding skin color by 2024 would not even be a thing. Well, you can thank the critical race theorists. You can thank the wokesters for highlighting how important race is to everything in the world. And if we just treat people like people, then the world's going to end. Yeah, who knows? I mean, the DNC, but I think that's about it.
Got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49
I don't think they do know it.
seconds left. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly.
Right. So what are you going to say to address that?
For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home so they can get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those Black families and those Black individuals who had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for Black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families. And
now, okay, let's be fair and not say that, or let's be fair and say that, of course, the biggest transfer. Wait, was that under Biden or was that under Trump? when they were that was under Trump when everything was locked down and they were giving everybody like $600 a week, right? That was under Trump. I'm pretty sure that was Trump, right? Who was the president that started the COVID payments to everyone? So the payments refer to stimulus checks were initiated. Yeah, okay. So they were. So this, the stimulus payments. That's a Trump thing. That was the biggest transfer of wealth in American history. That's it. That was a bad thing. But we also had an apparatus around him that pushed him in that direction. I am not saying that to make excuses. I'm just trying to give the full picture. So, definitely that also caused inflation. But, like Gonzaga is saying, the machine has played itself into a corner. There are no moves left that won't have significant side effects and or downsides. Yep. Funkmaster said an old Albanian guy told me kids are better than dogs because dogs can't go to the store and get you cigs and coffee. Fair enough. Must be nice. I think he's done his best to memorize talking points. Now notice how often he ticks off numbers. It's a trick to memorize. Yeah. Well, first of all, and then second of all, and then third of all. Balance said we get welcome to our own country if we fly interstate. What? It's on. They colonized themselves here in Aussie. I don't know about all that, but I definitely COVID. I'm happy that I was not in Australia for that. Definitely.
Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all of the other.
The Green New Scam. And yes, M69, you're absolutely right. Sadly, it was Trump. But look how often when he tried or talking about opening back up, the left pounced and said he doesn't care about people and he wants people to die. And how dare you? It's the worst thing ever. And oh my God, you don't even care about the American people. You don't care about the old people. You just care about the children. Yeah.
All this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation.
There was no inflation. I think that is the comment of the night. There was no inflation. There was no inflation. There was no inflation. Wait, is he? No, he's not about to say what he's not about to say what I think he's going to say. I need a second. Let me pour a drink here. He's not about to say there's no inflation when I became president. There's no way that he's about to say that out loud. Young Spy said, don't believe your lying bank accounts, people. Don't believe it. Don't believe your Walmart cart. You're reordering the same shit from a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's 4 times as much. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. All right, let me get that drink. There's no way he's about to say there was no inflation when I became president. There's no way he's going to say that.
The worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president.
There was no inflation when Joe Biden became president. And then?
Why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities.
And why didn't they have jobs, Joe? Too young, yeah, too long. Damn. Weren't even allowed to look at sunsets. I remember one video. I don't think I'll ever forget where just some woman on her well, I don't know if it's her porch or if it was one of these concentration camps, but there's a porch and there's a yellow line in the middle, and then there's multiple cops or whatever they were being like, "Don't step across the line." It's like, holy shit, they made up the 6 feet thing. They made it up, and now you're enforcing it with guns in a country where people don't have their own. Insane. Again, so I look at Trump's face on that freeze frame. I'm winning. Guantag said, no, that fake food shit has been around. It really started to get bad in China about a year ago. Huh? Oh, this, yes, hell yes. Speaking of cost of food, am I the only one who saw the rubbery fake food videos? You guys gotta see this. If you guys have not seen this, check.
Something bad is happening to the fruit in America. Hundreds of people on TikTok are reporting that anytime they buy produce from the grocery store, it's super rubbery and almost feels fake.
in Texas.
It happened to this woman when she bought watermelon for her kids as it was super stretchy and inedible.
I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like the texture. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon.
And again, when this person bought avocados in Texas that felt like Play-Doh. It's even been happening to bananas. And this popular TikToker swears that there was a fake blueberry made out of silicone in the pack of real blueberries that she allegedly bought from Costco.
Why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack?
And as a result,
guacamole!
Everyone in the comments is freaking out, saying that the fruits are being pumped with growth hormones, and others are saying that they will only be shopping at farmers markets from now on. It's crazy how little options there are when it
from now on. Why do they talk like
comes to getting actual organic fruits and veggies in the States, as most of the time the labels aren't accurate, and anytime you go to a different country in Europe or South America, their produce tastes much more flavorful. People were even speculating that the government is in on this, and others are planning to leave the fake fruit outside to see if it will attract bugs so we know if it's real or not.
Interesting. So definitely something to pay attention to. That shit is whack. Funkmaster General said someone I know, or somebody I met knows someone that met a guy who got the Wu flu from a sunset. It can happen to you. Good one. Valencia said they'd arrested and made an example out of a group of 20-year-old boys for meeting at the beach. It was truly sickening. These young kids were ending their lives. I couldn't believe it was happening. They were ending. Wait, what? These young kids were ending their lives? What do you mean by getting arrested, or they were going to the beach to end their lives? MC9 said, my lasting memory from COVID was an elderly lady who deteriorated alone in a nursing home 60 days, and she aged like 15 years. Jesus Christ. I'm saying that if they were smart, they would engineer fruit to have thicker seeds and skins so that you're charged by the pound for a less actual edible product. That would be smart. But they just said, fuck it. We'll go with rubber food. Let's see if we can find that. I want to see if I can find this Australian lockdown COVID porch. Let's see. Oh, let's see what we've got. Is this what you were just talking about?
Less than 2 weeks ago, Australian authorities moved fast to clamp down. Curfews imposed, beaches, streets, stores emptied in the city of Adelaide. Everyone ordered to lock down.
Yeah, if you leave the fake fruit outside to see if like bugs and animals come to get it, then you know it's real fruit. Or if it rots, then it's gonna be real fruit. But you know, if it just stays as is, then it's not real food. Giggling Spy say, yes, what was done to the elderly through isolation and children through masking is horrific. Then, of course, the crippling economy, of course. Okay, kids, what you want to eat? Rubber fruit or a cheetah dust? Well, if I remember right, real banana seeds are like the size of blueberries. Learn something new every day. Let's see.
At home, and all this after 9 people tested positive. Just 9.
It makes sense, doesn't it? You know what I mean? We don't want to end up like other parts of the world.
Australia has been
no, I don't want to end up like your part of the world.
Extremely serious about its lockdowns when the second wave.
Now it's just we got shot with rubber bullets at the protests. Just so cruel. And our MP was doing it all to get back at us. Kids were ending lives from lockdowns. And I remember thinking that there was like, the world, the first world, the Western world. You have like the Americas and Canada. You have Europe. And you have Australia. And they're all kind of, on the same level. As bad as the lockdowns were, American freedom absolutely showed itself in comparison to at least Australia. I'm not remembering the UK and stuff right off the top of my head, but Australia and Canada are not on our level, unfortunately.
Hit in the summer, authorities didn't pause. Nearly every business in Melbourne was forced to close. There are limits on how many people can return to the country, and when they do, mandatory quarantine hotels guarded by soldiers. Police checkpoints to ensure no one was ever more than 25 kilometers from home, and $1,300 fines readily handed out to the rule breakers. Politicians didn't mess around.
They're not rules that are against you. They are rules for you.
Oh, we're doing this for you. We're not doing this to you. So it's not in here. I don't know what it was, but let's see. Yeah, I don't see it here. I don't see it here. But yeah, I remember seeing some of the just some of the videos that were coming out, and they were bad. Yeah, very bad. My question says I get the concept. It's the wording that's off. If you know it's fake, why would you leave it outside? To prove that it's fake. You have a hypothesis. I think this is fake fruit. So I'm going to leave it outside to show that what I think I know is true. That's how you do science.
We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, if the ACA has increased, I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for the health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again, and they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing anything, we put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you.
His malfeasance. We see where the rest of this is going, and it's just such a sad state of affairs that this is where American politics is in 2024. To think about how this country started, to think about what we went through as a nation, and to see that we've ended up here. Don't get me wrong, I do love Trump, but we could be doing so much better. We could be doing so much better. So, there's about 30 minutes left of that. The link is in the description if you want to watch the rest if you have not already. But it pretty much goes like that. So let's head on over to the after party. I definitely want to hear from you guys and see what you thought about all of this. Big shout out to the Rumble Rants over on Rumble from Giggling Spy and Zippy the Strange. Very, very much appreciated. Over here, we also had the Funk Master General sponsoring the stream with a tenor of 5 gifted memberships and 1 more $10 super chat. We also had Garrett Grant with a gifted membership and Balance Cheese with the Australian 10. Guys, thank you so very much. Morty's up here. We'll give him one of these, a little one, just for a freebie, Why not? Thank you so very much. Giggling Spy said, don't eat the bugs, keep them to quality. Check your food. Yeah. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but here we are. So stay vigilant, guys. Stay vigilant. Like we said, the next couple months is going to be wild. Whatever happens, something is going to happen. So we're gonna, as much as, again, I'm not a news channel. I'm not, if something little happens, I'm not necessarily gonna be like, okay, guys, this happened. You have your whatever you follow for that. But with the big stuff going on and the conversations that are happening, this is where you want to be. This is where we're going to be breaking down everything and making sure that we have a good idea of what the political landscape is today, so that tomorrow, when some crazy shit happens, we've been paying attention. We know, okay, here's the move. That's the move. Okay, how do we respond to this? How do we not fall into the plans of exactly what they want us to fall into? The fact that you see so many Democrats now being like, maybe Joe Biden should step down. That's exactly what they want you to think when they want you to think it. We can't be those people. I don't think we are those people, but we can't become those people. So just stay vigilant, guys. Stay vigilant. So thank you so very, very, very much for hanging out with you guys. Thank you again to the donations. I know that it is, it's hard out there and everybody's doing what they can. But if you can open your wallet and support the platform here, as I've said so many times before, we are so much closer to the beginning than to the end. And I promise you, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as long as I can speak, I will be in this chair. I will be bringing you whatever I can that I think can help us just a little bit. And if you are down with that, definitely, again, join the Discord server, guys. It is completely free to join. It's absolutely free to join. We're in there having conversations all the time. Meet a bunch of people that, may not think exactly the same, but are going to be able to engage in interesting conversations about what's going on, and not just the country, but all around the world. I really, really, really think we are building something. And a shout out to Melted Mind Media coming in at the last minute. Welcome. We're about to head over to the after party if you want to join us there. But I really, really, really do appreciate you guys again, and a big, big, big shout out to the Funk Master General, once again, the sponsor of our stream. Again, guys, if you got gifted a membership, you now have access to the after party. Me and Guantek are already in there, so meet us over there once again. This is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.